Hello, welcome back. So it's been a while since I last uploaded a video here in YouTube, but this has been a really busy semester. I've been engaging in quite a lot of activities, in quite a lot of projects, so I haven't had the time to dedicate that time to creating more videos and so on here in YouTube. But that doesn't mean that I've forgotten about this channel and about the aspirations that I have as far as uh, spreading a message that I think is worthwhile and getting people on board and having good discussions with other people and so on and so forth is concerned. So this is something that I obviously have not forgotten about. And given that I've recently, so yesterday, finished this semester, which has been, really busy, and that I'm going to be having maybe a little bit more of spare time, although I'm really not going to be having much because there are still a lot of things that I need to do, and I'm planning of going back to Shanghai within the next weeks. So this is, I'm still really busy, but I'm going to try to upload a little bit more frequently, at least until next semester starts. And I try my best to try to do things here in YouTube. And I recently was in Socialism Down Left's channel, speaking about the labor theory of value, about wage determination, about other issues, about productive and unproductive labor, which was a really good conversation. But before I speak a little bit more about that, let me say that this video is going to be one of those where I tell you a little bit about what my plans are for future videos, about what my ideas are, and I tell you this so that you can give me some feedback. So these videos are specially done to for you, my audience, to give me some feedback on what you would like to see, on whether or not you think that the ideas that I'm going to present are good. And in case there is something that you wish to ask me, so that you can also ask me now. I try to respond to all the messages I get. I mean, I'm not a really big YouTuber here, so I don't get a lot of messages, but I do get quite some of them. And I try to respond to all of them, but sometimes I don't have time. Sometimes YouTube doesn't give me a notice that the message has been sent to me, so I cannot respond because I don't see them. So if you feel that there is something that you want to tell me that you have told me in the past and that I haven't responded to, please do also let me know so that I can take a look again. And I promise that I will try to respond as many messages as I can within my limited amount of time. But yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about the ideas that I have in mind, and first about what I think about the debate that I had with Socialism Done Left. So I really enjoyed the time that I spent there with Socialism Done Left. I think that he has a critical mind, which is something that I really appreciate, and it's something that I value when I'm speaking to someone, that they have a critical mind and that they really want to engage in an honest manner with the topics that they speak about. And he seemed sincere with his concerns about the labor theory of value and about other theories. So I really enjoyed it. I think that he also has more knowledge than the average person on these issues. So it was really fun for me, at least, and I know that a lot of people also saw the conversation as something productive and as a good conversation. So I want to do an analysis of that conversation that is going to be divided probably in two parts. One where I speak more about the first topic that we spoke about, which was the labor theory of value, and then another video where I focus more on the other two issues that we spoke about, which were, a little bit on the distinction between productive and unproductive labor, on exploitation theory, and also on wage determination. We spoke a little bit about that too. Because I reviewed the debate, and I think that at some points we were speaking a little bit past each other. So I want to analyze the arguments more in depth. I want to give my honest opinion on what he said and what the criticisms that he raised. And I basically want to upload it here so that all of you can also see them. And I recommend that anyone watches that conversation, because I think it's worthwhile, to watch that conversation. So Noting this, this is something that I'm planning to do, this review, where I will look at his criticisms, I will try to explain my position, and something that I really want to do here in YouTube is I want to produce content that is not just directed at people that have a lot of knowledge on economics and on certain philosophical issues, and that they are, I don't want to make videos that are too technical, although I most of the time I end up doing something like that. So I want to start from very basic propositions, and then I try to move to more complex ones. So it's not going to be a very it's not going to be a very simple discussion, the one that I'm going to make when I discuss my conversation with socialism on left. But I will try also to talk about more simple things in other videos, and also let me know, because the target audience that I want, so the audience that I want to target is people of all backgrounds. So you don't need to be too knowledgeable on economics or on philosophy or on mathematics to be able to watch my videos. I want to make them as approachable as they can be, right? So if there's something that you don't understand, if there's some basic thing that you think you could learn more about, also let me know. I will try to make videos that are more directed at the basic elements of certain theories, and then the more complex ones. So this is also something that I have in mind, and it's something that I've done some points in the past. So let me know again any suggestions that you may have. Maybe you don't understand properly certain things about supply and demand, or maybe you don't understand some things about monetary economics, and you want to learn more profound things, but you also want to know more about the basics. So let me know about that too. But yeah, so these two videos probably that I'm going to make on my conversation with socialism on left are going to be a little bit more technical, but that doesn't mean that I'm forgetting about also the people that don't know too much about the technical and the non-technical parts. So I will try to build in future videos the arguments from the very ground, right? So that everyone can start from an approachable standpoint and then move to the more complex things. Okay, so that's as far as the conversation with socialism on left goes. I also have in mind something that I've been studying more deeply throughout the past months, which is Chinese traditional political philosophy. And this is something that I've been studying with Professor Tongdong Bai, who is a really nice professor actually. And I've really enjoyed learning from him a lot of these topics, and I will continue to learn more from his hand and from other people that are experts on this subject. And I think that traditional Chinese political philosophy can offer us certain insights into not only classical issues but even modern issues that I think are worthwhile. And I want to speak about that, not only about Confucianism but also about other schools such as the legalist school and so on, so that I don't only give the Confucian view of this question. And this is something that I have in mind. So if you're interested in this, you can also let me know. And aside from that, the ideas that I had in mind previously that I haven't gotten to do, I also want to get to that within the next months. One of those ideas is to redo my video on the relationship between exploitation and inequality. Now, I made in the past two videos that were called a Marxist approach to, I think the name was something like that, Marxist understanding of inequality, something like that. And I think that some of the points in those videos, most of the points were good, but I think that I can explain them a lot better in less time, using less technicalities, and without using a certain Keynesian model that I used in my second video to illustrate the points that I want to get across, which is basically that exploitation tells us a lot about how unequal a society is, and how you can understand inequality between societies and between different periods of time in the same society. So that's also something that I want to do, remake these videos. And then, of course, I want to continue with my series on the classical political economy. Now, the next video that I'm thinking of doing, before I get to the profit part of the series and the tendency of the rate of profit and so on and so forth, I first want to comment a little bit more about value. So I will probably make one video clarifying the terminology and making more clear the distinction between use value and value and exchange value. So and getting a little bit more in depth into these concepts. So that's also something that I want to do, and I might actually do this even before I speak about my debate with Socialism Done Left, because part of the things that I will say in that video are probably going to be useful for that other conversation. So that's as far as that goes. Now I have other ideas in mind, but those are the immediate ones that I'm interested in doing. So if you have any suggestions, you can, of course, let me know. Now, as far as conversations with other people are concerned, I'm always open to talk to anyone who is willing to speak to me and maybe challenge me on certain topics and so on and so forth. So that's something that I'm always up to. Now, you might remember that I spoke to Bosch in the past to speak about him on economics, and we're speaking probably about the labor theory of value. Now, as I mentioned in the past, we postponed the conversation, and then we postponed it again because there has been a lot of political issues that have been going on recently that have made our conversation really not doable at that point in time. So I will probably get back to him at some point within the next weeks to try to arrange for some time next semester. So let's see if that can go, and I think that could be a really nice conversation, because I've been watching also some other content that he has done on economics, and I know that he's not really well versed in economics, and I think that's okay. I don't think that everyone has to be an expert on every single issue, but I think that we could really, him and I could really enjoy a productive conversation, much like the one that I had with Socialism Done Left, right? So again, if anyone is interested in proposing me debate or conversation ideas, I'm always glad to entertain them. Now, of course, I'm going to be very busy, and I'm probably going to be flying back to Shanghai, so there's going to be time conflicts and so on and so forth. But I'm always open to hearing whatever suggestions you may have. So yeah, I mean that's as far as that goes. So those are pretty much the ideas that I have in mind. Now, as I've said numerous times, any suggestions you may have, you can always let me know. And I've noticed that we've been growing a little bit more recently, especially after the conversation that I had with Socialism Done Left, which is a good thing. We are slowly but steadily approaching the 1,000 subscriber mark. And I mean, this is something that I think it's good, right? If we are able to create here a community of people that are genuinely interested in these topics. Now, not everyone has to be on board with classical political economy or with Marxian political economy. Not everyone has to be like that. I accept in this community everyone that is interested in the topics that I speak about, in more philosophical or political issues, without needing to agree with me necessarily, right? So again, people that are not in agreement with me are also welcome here, and I think that we can build a nice community here of people that are interested in these issues and that want to converse and want to have nice talks and discussions with one another on these issues. And I mean, so if you're interested in pursuing this collective effort, you're always welcome here. And yeah, you can subscribe, you can like the videos, comment, and so on and so forth. And yeah, with that being said, this is all that I wanted to say for today. I will see you in the next video.